Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. It looks like we're wrapping up Tarkir Dragonstorm spoilers with some commons and other things, but there's some decent things in there, and hell, there's only one or two cards missing if I counted right. And math is hard, so probably counted wrong. But we can now move on, and can't wait for this sweet stuff to come in for the box opening series. So if you don't want to miss it, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Become a YouTube member. Links in the description for ways to support the channel and buy those cards on eBay and TCG Player, or straight from me if you're a supporter, and get you some really, really good discounts. Right, Sawyer? That's my boy. Thanks for sticking around. So we're going to start off with the Arashin Sun Shield, white and 3 for a 3/4 for 4, not bad. When it enters, exiles up 2 target cards to seal graveyard. For 1 white, it taps a creature. Not bad. Not gonna say so myself. I think the best thing about this is graveyard hate in a decent casting cost, decent power creature with the ability to tap creatures. It doesn't slice dice and make julienne fries, but it's kind of like the Temu version of it, if you will. So, going to be great and limited, but probably only place is going to see play, sadly. Next, we have the Furious Forebearer, a white and 1 for a 3/1. Whenever a creature you control dies while this card is in your graveyard, if you pay a white and 1, you can return this card from your graveyard to your hand. This seems really good. This seems to be, or looks to be, a powerhouse for White Weenie because it says a creature you control dies. This includes tokens. So if your token dies, you can pick up a 3/1 for a white and 1, and then for another white and 1, cast it again. Now, they may see that 4 mana is a lot for a 3/1, but let's be honest. If you're playing White Weenie, you'll take any dude you can get, especially when they start killing off your tokens and stuff, because you can just start cycling through this guy. Great for limited. Probably going to be okay for standard. I mean, at worst case scenario, if you never get it back, it's a 2 mana 3/1, and that's good. So, yeah, kind of nice. Next, we have the Poised Practitioner. I like this art. White and 2 for a 2/3 with Flurry. When you cast your second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature and scry 1. Sadly, not good enough for standard, probably, but in limited, whoo, hot stuff. And to be fair, the Scry 1 might be good enough for some kind of weird, we'll say, commander deck, maybe. Is there a human monk commander? Anyway, moving on. Next, in white, we have the Storm Beacon Blade, white and 1 artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+0. When the equipped creature attacks, draw a card if you control 3 or more attacking creatures. Equips for 2. Not the best, but I have seen worse. Good for limited. And it might snake its way into a, we'll say, commander deck maybe here or there, just because of the draw ability. There is a slim chance this would be good in White Weenie, if that's a thing in standard, just because of the attack with 3 creatures, draw a card thing. But to be fair, if I'm attacking with 3 creatures, I think I'd rather just have an extra creature instead of this. So it's iffy. All right, starting with blue, we have the Ice Ridge Serpent, blue and 4 for a 3/3. When this creature enters, return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. This is awful for everything but limited. I mean, that's pretty much what this is for. So, moving on. Art's great. We have Sibsig Appraiser, blue and 2 for a 2/1. When this creature enters, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand, the other into your graveyard. This is insanely good and limited. Oh my lord. This is a sleight of hand along with 2 mana for a 2/1. It's a sleight of hand with legs. An undead sleight of, because it's a zombie. A sleight of hand with legs. This is really good for limited. This is amazing. This might be good enough for commander in a zombie deck if they're playing blue. I'm just going to be honest. Because the ability for 3 mana to make a 2/1 that can block and keep you alive, plus look at the top 2 cards of your deck, 1 in your hand, 1 in the graveyard. I mean, this says Saltai all over it. You hear that, Sawyer? Anyway, moving on. Next, we have Veteran Ice Climber, blue and 1 for a 1/3 Vigilance. Can't be blocked. Interesting. Whenever this creature attacks, up to one target player mills cards equal to this creature's power. Oh boy. This is going to be a thing in the mill deck. 1/3 that can swing and not die, plus block when needed. This seems like a pretty decent card for Commander. This seems like a limited powerhouse just because you mill your opponent. We've already got a 40-card deck. Anytime you mill him, it's going to be devastating. And if you got something to pump his power up, holy shit, look out. Yeah, not legendary either. Fill that deck up with these. In limited. Next, we have the Wingblade Disciple. Blue and 2 for a 2/2 flyer. Perfectly fine. That's limited worthy. Flurry, whenever you cast your second spell each turn, get a 1/1 white bird with flying. So not only is it a 2/2 flyer, it makes 1/1 flyers, which are hard to block, meaning this is a limited all-star. I don't think it's going to be that great in Standard because this is just not what blue is known for in Standard. I mean, maybe we'll get a deck with blue in it that this is good, but like, I just don't see it. And in Commander, this is probably going to be halfway decent if this is what you're looking for, but I mean, it only happens once because it's your second spell each turn. Like, probably not good enough. Anyway, moving on. Next, we have the Constrictor Sage. Blue and 4 for a 4/4. That's okay for limited. Whenever this creature enters, tap target creature and opponent controls, put a stun counter on it. Oh, that's good for limited. Now, it also has Renew for blue and 2. You can exile the card from your graveyard, tap a creature and opponent controls, put a stun counter on it as a sorcery. This is just as good on the battlefield being played as it is going to your graveyard. It almost makes you want to kill it so you can stun something later to get the last bits of damage in. So, I mean, what are they going to do? Not block it so it stays on the battlefield and just die? I mean, yeah. This seems like a limited powerhouse. Unfortunately, that's all it is. Next, we have Focus the Mind. Blue and 4. Spell costs 2 less to cast. If you cast another spell this turn, draw 3 cards, discard a card. This is amazing. Probably going to be really good and very playable in several decks. Limited, obviously. This is good enough for Standard, especially in a deck playing blue that has cheap casting costs, because if you got a 1 casting cost spell, that makes this cost 3, which draw 3, then discard 1 is amazing for 3 mana. This is going to see Standard play in some way, shape, or form. I think it's going to be a big player in Commander, because in Commander, you're always going to cast something else to make this cheaper, and that just makes it sweeter. So, yeah, this is a thing. Hell, it might see play in older formats. Next, we start with black, Aggressive Negotiations. Black and 2 sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. Choose a non-land card from it. Exile that card. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. I mean, it's limited. Basic removal spell. Plus, you get a little beef on your creature if you got one out. It's fine for limited, but nothing great. We have the Adorned Crocodile. Black and 4 for a 5/3. When it dies, you get to make a 2/2 black zombie druid. That matters. Also, it has Renew for 1 black. You exile the card, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Also sweet. Good way to pump. Also, if you have anything that triggers off counters, doubling season. Anyway, yeah, this seems like a powerhouse for limited and maybe Commander. Nightblade Brigand, black and 2 for a 1/3 Death Toucher. Already like it for limited. Death Touch, 1/3. Sold. Has Mobilize 1. Whenever it attacks, you get a 1/1 attacking creature with it. And when the creature dies, you get to Surveil 1. Limited All-Star. Unfortunately, that is as far as it goes. Next, we have the Kin Tree Nurturer, black and 2 for a 2/1 lifelinker. Not bad for limited. When this creature enters, you get to endure 1, which means it could be a 3/2 lifelinker, or you get a 1/1 spirit token. Amazing for limited. This is going to be some sweet stuff. Sadly, probably as far as it goes. It is a druid, though, so it might make the Commander deck. We have the Gurmak Rakashasha. 2 black and 4 for a 5/5 demon. It has Menace, because why wouldn't it? When this creature enters, target creature and opponent controls gets -2/-2 to end of turn, and target creature you control gets +2/+2. Thank God it doesn't have Flash. But, even with that, this is probably only good in limited. A 6-mana 5/5 Menace is always sweet. And on the bonus chance you get to kill a creature is even better. Next, we have Alchemist Assistant, a black and 1 for a 2/1 lifelinker. It's a monkey. He got the monkeys. He got the monkeys. Anyway, sorry. It has Renew, exile this card from your graveyard, put a lifelink counter on target creature, activate only as a sorcery. This is great for limited. Seems good enough for standard to me, depending on what your deck's doing. And might see some commander play. Because now we can start making monkey decks. Giggity. Anyway, moving on. Salt Road Skirmish, black and 3 sorcery, destroy target creature, create 2 1/1 red warrior creature tokens. They gain haste at the end of turn, sacrifice them, begin your next end step. Oh, never mind, that got bad. That went downhill quick. I was like, holy shit, 4 mana, kill a creature, and I get 2 tokens? I'm in. This is like, sacrifice them at end of turn. Wah, wah. Great for limited, though. Get a creature out of the way, get 2 guys who can get in and do damage once. Yeah, I mean, it's only limited. I mean, 4 mana plus sorcery, just, nah. Not good enough for anything but limited. All right, we have the Sand Skidder Outrigger. For Goblin Soldier, that's a black and 3 for a 2/1 menace. This creature enters and endures 2, so it could be a 4/3 menace, or you can get a 2/2 spirit token. Take a 4/3 menace personally, but you never know. Things have happened, so good for limited. We have Unburied Earthcarver, black and 1 for a 2/2. For 2 mana, sacrifice another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this one. I mean, it's not a sorcery speed, so you can react to removal or creatures dying or what have you. Could be, I mean, will be good and limited to some degree, but probably as far as this is going to go. Wild Ride. I've never heard that in my life from a woman. Anyway, 1 red, target creature gets +3/+0, gains haste till end of turn. That could be a thing. Nothing like laying out big nappy and then being like, +3/+0, and he's swinging this turn. Giggity. That's going to be a powerhouse move in limited. Plus, Harmonize makes it just as good. It will be hard to use with Harmonize, but let's be honest. Sometimes you just have creatures sitting back because, well, they can't get through anyway. So, yeah, might as well Harmonize with them. Fleeting Effigy, 1 red for a 2/2 haster. Holy shit. At the beginning of your end step, return this creature to its owner's hand. No one cares. This is amazing. This is a shock every turn until they block it. And I like it. I like how they put on there, return it only if it's on the battlefield. Yeah. Oh, you block it, it's dead. Oh, it goes back to my hand even though it's in the graveyard. That's not how this works. Also, the ability to pump it for a red and 2 to get +2/+0. This seems like a powerhouse card for limited and standard. Hell, this might make some older formats. Depending on what's going on with it. I mean, probably not because you don't want to keep recasting it. But hey, I've seen weirder things, so we'll just leave it at that. Next, we have the Iridescent Tiger, red and 4 for a 3/4. When it enters, if you cast it, you get Wooburg. That's right, 1 of every colored mana. Basically, this is a filter cat that you cast for 5, get your mana back, so basically cast it for free, then cast something else. I don't think this is going to see a whole lot of play in anything outside of Limited. In Limited, it's amazing, as long as you have something to cast after it. Otherwise, it's just wah-wah. But, I mean, still fine. I think this will be a big player in Commander, though, for those red decks who need to hit those 5-color mana. The ability to play this card, to get something to block with, plus filter your mana into the 5 colors that you need to play those big 5-color nappy commanders. Seems this may be popular. And it's a cat. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to play with a cat? Everybody loves a little kitty. Right? Right? Yeah. Anyway. Overwhelming Surge, red and 2, instant. Choose 1 or both. Overwhelming Surge deals 3 damage to target creature or destroy target non-creature artifact. Notice it says choose 1 or both. This is good enough for limited. This will definitely be good enough for standard. Because if you get to use both for 3 mana at instant speed, sold American. Worst case scenario, it deals 3 damage. It's an expensive lightning strike. Or worst case scenario, it's a very expensive shatter. And to have that versatility to do both, I'm here for it. Great for standard, great for limited. Probably going to see commander play. So, yeah. Next, we have Twin Bolts back. Pretty sure this is a reprint. Red and 1. Deals 2 damage divided any way you choose among 1 or 2 targets. This was always popular before. Will probably be popular again, depending on the format. Great for limited. If Standard has a bunch of 1 toughness creatures floating around, this will be very, very popular. Otherwise, it's just going to be okay. Next, we have Rain Veil Rejuvenator, green and 3 for an Elephant Druid, because why not? It's a 2/4. When it enters, you mill 3 cards, taps amount of green mana equal to this creature's power. So taps for 2 until you pump it, and then it's game on. This thing is probably going to see some wild combo piece manipulation in Commander, in big mana decks, and other things. This is also just great for limited in general. 2/4 for 4 is fine. Hard to kill, plus, 2 mana. That means on turn 5, if you have a land, you can cast something that costs 7. Yes, they're in the format in limited. All the big dragons, you'll need that. So yeah, this will be popular. As far as Standard goes, probably not. There's just better ways to do it with mana dorks, like elves. But hey, I've seen weirder. So if the whole getting cards in the graveyard is a thing for a deck, plus you need big mana, here's your boy. Next, we have Sage of the Fang, green and 2 for a 2/2. When this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It's a 3 mana for 3, basically. You can put it on itself. It has Renew for green and 3. Exile the card, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Then double the number of +1/+1 counters on that creature. This is going to see heavy Commander play. If you play Doubling Season, holy shit. And other things, but Doubling Season is the easiest thing to come to mind. This is going to be very, very popular. Plus, it's a druid. It's also a druid. So, it's got a lot going on. Next, we have the Sagu Pummeler. Green and 3 for a 4/4 reach. Wow, is this good for a common? Power creep, anybody? Anyhow, it also has Renew for a green and 4. You can exile this card from your graveyard, put 2 +1/+1 counters, and a reach counter on target creature. God, this is good. This is technically good enough for Standard. There's just better 4 mana cost spells, but Powerhouse and Limited, it probably won't see play anything past Limited. But if there's a place for a 4 mana creature in some form of green deck in Standard, this is a good contender because it starts for 1 green, and if it's a 3 color or more deck, it starts for 1 green, making it easy to cast. Has reach. It's a 4/4. It pumps things like it's got the goods. Trade Route Envoy. Is it just me or they draw everything and then Photoshop the dog in it? Anyway, Dog Soldier, green and 3 for a 4/3. When it enters, you draw a card if you control a creature with a counter on it. If you don't draw a card this way, put a counter on a creature. Great for limited. Probably as far as it's going to see it. There's chances this goes into Commander decks that have +1/+1 counters as one of their themes, so you can draw a card. But there might be better ways to do it. This is 4 mana, so. Next, we have Dragon Sniper, Human Archer. It's a 1 green, 1/1, Vigilance, Reach, Death Touch. I like it. I also like the fact that once it snipes the dragon, it's fucking dead. Giving it up for the home team, I see. But this is going to be a powerhouse. Plum, powerhouse in limited, even Standard, because it's got Vigilance. You can swing in, not have to worry about haste creatures that you may have to block for some reason. It'll be good in Commander because it has Death Touch in those poison counter deck. There's a lot going on here. This card is going to see play in several formats, so just get ready. Next, we have Formation Breaker, green and 1 for a 2/1. Creatures with power less than this creature's power can't block. As long as you control a creature with a counter on it, this creature gets +1/+2, so it's a 3/3 for 2. Just okay. Fine for limited. Probably won't see play past that unless there's some kind of weird deck this fits in. Next, we have Inspirited Vanguard, green and 4 for a 3/2. That when it enters, it endures 2. So it could be a 5/4 for 5, which is normal. Or you could get a 2/2 white spirit creature token. This is just okay. Limited only. Next, we have Knockout Maneuver. There for a second, I was wondering why that chick had four legs. Anyway, green and 2 sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then it deals damage equal to its power to a creature an opponent controls. Basic green fight spell, except this one doesn't let the creature fight back. Powerhouse removal for limited. And that's as far as it goes. Next, we have Champion of Dusan. Green and 2 for a 4/2 trampler on par. The renew ability, you exile the card in your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter and a trample counter on target creature. That makes it very playable in limited, but really that's it. I mean, it's your basic 4/2. Next, we have Anok Wayfarer, maybe? Anok? I don't know. Green and 1 for a 1/1. When the creature enters, you mill 3 cards. Put a land card from among them into your hand. If you don't, put a +1 counter on this creature. It's fine for limited. If you want to do a find land or make a 2/2. This might not even be good in limited, to be honest with you. I'm having second thoughts. Anyhow, next we have Dragon Claw Strike. We have the Teamer one. It's 6 colorless or a red, blue, and a green. Double the power and toughness target creature you control to end of turn. Then it fights up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. So the creature it fights gets to fight back, but when you double power and toughness, it's going to be hard for this thing to lose. This seems like a powerhouse removal spell for limited. We'll have to see how good this could be in standard. I mean, it can be good, but the question is, will it? And this is also going to be pretty sweet in Commander, I think, in my personal opinion. Next, we have the Reputable Merchant. And no, it's not the turtle. This is the Abzan one. 6 colorless or a green, black, and a white. It is a 2/2. When the creature enters or dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Wow, this is really sad. Much like that turtle. Basically, a 3-mana 3/3 that can put a counter on something else when it's dead. I mean, I guess it's fine for limited, but I mean, other than that, I'm really not impressed. So, yeah. Sad turtle. Sad turtle. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I do appreciate it. Till next time, be kind. And as always, I hope to see you across from the game table. A sad ending.